This is Jono's World, conversation for everyone.
What is up, everyone? I am so sorry about this week's episode, but we have lost the first 30 minutes of my conversation with my friend Antonio. Just Riverside, the app, it completely glitched out on me. And so, yeah, you get the second part. It's still about an hour long. It's wildly entertaining. There's going to be some stories in there that you are not expecting. But where it picks up, one, when it flips over, you're going to see me with a much bigger beard and a Santa hat. But where it picks up is we are beginning to talk about the International House of Prayer. Me and him have caught up. Our lives took us apart. We were friends back then. All of a sudden, he had disappeared. Didn't know where he had gone, and now, 12, 13 years later, we meet on TikTok through random circumstances. We have similar beliefs, and we're catching up on this podcast. And you're getting some cool stories and some behind the scenes International House of Prayer talk. I think we had just spoke about him coming to IHOP and starting the inner healing programs that they have. IHOP has a lot of these programs for conversion therapy. They just don't call it conversion therapy. They call it living waters and different things like that. But it's conversion therapy twisted to be probably even more harmful. This episode is definitely not for your kids. It has got some crude stuff in it, but I think you're going to really, really, really enjoy it. Um, And if you're a former person of the International House of Prayer, you're going to identify with a lot of what we talk about in this video. And so where it picks up is me asking him which program he did. And I had just told him that I got out of doing programs because at the International House of Prayer, and he talked about this more than I did, but I was keyed up as like the next dude. I was an alpha male, super religious. I mean, my autism had me so focused and honed in. I didn't even know I had it, but it loved the rigor. And so it was this the buy-in and the intensity was very natural for me. And I explained what brought me out of that, but that's in other episodes, so I don't need to rehash that here. I want to get right to it. I want to keep this intro below 5 minutes. Um, so yeah, that's where the video picks up. That's who I was back then. He was scared of me. He talks about being on a trip with me and feeling like he had to act extra extra straight, so that I wouldn't pick up on it and different things like that. So he painted my picture um, of a super zealot, which I was, and I apologize for, and I'm ashamed of, but not will never hide from. So anyway, enjoy this episode of Jono's World. I'm sorry for losing the first 30 minutes, but blame Riverside, not me. So anyway, that's it.
This is Jono's World, conversation for everyone.
Which program did you do? Or, I mean, you did
Yeah. So
what?
first I did an internship.
Yeah.
I knew coming into it, I had already done conversion therapy in
Oh, you had.
Orlando and in Alaska. Yeah,
Okay.
because the Assemblies of God works with like exchange ministries or something like that.
Okay.
Um, so I work with some pretty big names in the ex-gay world in Orlando, especially. But so I was familiar with it, and I knew that IHOP, I was going to continue this journey, but IHOP just kind of put their little spin on it, which was a million times worse. It was like, not only do you need to stop being gay, but if you don't, you will be swept up, you will be killed by Jesus, you will be, your lamp will have no oil. Like, it was just amplified times 10 because of their hyperfixation on the end times.
Okay, so
So yeah.
for people watching, um, so I thought conversion therapy happened at IHOP or post IHOP for you. But so for people watching who is like, what's conversion therapy? What
Yeah.
is conversion therapy?
Yeah, so conversion therapy these days is packaged as a sort of inner healing for brokenness. But while we can all relate to that and be like, yeah, we all need healing and we're all broken in some way, they really just mean sexually. They just don't kind of say that, but they really just mean sexually. And even more so than that, while there are people that struggle with porn addiction and, masturbation, whatever, normal stuff, but they really, though, focus most of their energy on same-sex attraction and also like gender identity issues. So there were a few other people that were straight, but maybe they just, jerked off a little bit too much or something. But mostly it was gays and trans. Mostly.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
mostly, or
Yeah.
some the porn addict,
Right. Right. Those
guy
were.
who takes a
Oh, and sorry, so that's who they targeted, but it was a process of treating who you are as an addiction, and then teaching you to abstain and heal that addiction. So we would talk about how many times we had a lustful thought about someone of the same sex that week, how many times we masturbated, ways to not do those things. There was that practical part. So conversion therapy is the practical part of, like, what you would do to not act on your addiction. And then the second part would be, let's, go into the mind and see where this started and how can we undo this, which is like pretty heavy psychological shit that they're literally just making up out of
right.
nowhere and implanting these memories into your mind. So it's two parts. Yeah. It's
Gotcha.
many parts, but it's those major two parts that form conversion therapy. And by the end of it, you're just supposed to, like, not want to be gay as much and just kind of ride out that wave. Hopefully, you're able to marry someone of a different gender at some point because you've come that far along on your healing path.
Now, the first time you did conversion therapy, what was your hope by the end of it?
Um, I really wanted to marry a girl, but I was hoping she would maybe be a lesbian, and we could have this kind of sexless best friends marriage and just be powerful evangelist. Um, so my focus was just I wanted to be whole because I wanted to be in ministry.
That
And
kind of
yeah.
happened at the prayer house too. It just didn't end, you know.
What, the gays
Uh,
marrying each other?
no, 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 no. Sex cult.
Oh, the sex cult. Right, yeah. Man, just controversy after controversy
Bruh.
there. Yeah.
Yep. And so your hope to come out of it was to be straight,
Was to be straight and
ultimately.
okay, because when I was straight was when I was gonna be the man of God I've been trying for so many years to be. That would be the
Right.
mark of you've made it. Yeah.
Now, you said that like they try to find like a hypnosis would these events in your
Super
life
hypnotic. Yeah.
that cause ripple effects. And
Yeah.
so their theory is that no one is born gay, something happened that made you gay.
Absolutely, yeah. Trauma, and
Okay.
their two main focuses. While there was a ton of traumas they can, implant there along the way, the big one was mother father wound. So either you didn't get what you needed from your mom or you didn't get what you needed from your dad, now you're gay.
Hmm.
Yeah, and usually for, men it was father wound, and for women it was mother wound. And we're just searching out what we never got. But then puberty kicked in and we sexualized that desire to,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Which at the time made perfect sense. It really did.
It
Yeah.
does, especially when you've bought into the ending.
Yes.
So
When you want it so bad.
they hold
Yeah.
that ending in front of you to
Yeah.
get you to jump into these
Yeah.
circles.
When
And
you think
so
about it,
like
like who doesn't wish that their father would have been more present or their mother? That's
that's right,
literally a
yeah.
universal theme, and they just kind of use that to say, to explain your story, but more importantly, to say God didn't make you this way. It was, the fact that you didn't get the support you needed.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And then they just
genius.
convince you of that. And that they find your moment.
What?
Did they find your moment where you became gay?
Oh, that man, that would have been powerful. So it's not as much that they found my moment, but we found several moments that did that for me. It was several moments and just like normal things that you wouldn't think twice about, you add so much, unnecessary drama to, and they really do like implant memories because that's just how memory works. It's, we distort and we delete and we generalize. And it's almost like they had training in that way because they take advantage of that to say, hey, well, it was more than just your father not showing up. That was the day you started really needing male attention.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, I mean, you're not wrong, but at the same time, no, this is not how I became gay. But sure, yeah, I did long for more male attention after that. But shit, I was gay way before
Just
then too.
just like a straight dude, like he's gonna go to his girlfriend every time he's pissed off at his dad.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes.
what's the difference
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference there? Like as a human response, there's not one, right?
Right. Right.
But it was demonized response versus like, oh, he's just a boy. That's what he did response.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it just something they didn't really explain why it just happened to be you. Even like the example of you having siblings and them all having the same parents,
But you're
why did they
gay.
turn out straight and you were all parented the same way? It's just they never kind of explain why it happened to just be so fucked up for you. Why did you have to take all that trauma and turn gay with it? Why couldn't you just, be a needy straight guy or, a guy that likes older women or something like that,
I, I mean, I've had similar discussions with, people from the same place when it comes to
Yeah.
autism. Like me, oh, your lack of faith is why you have autism. You didn't have autism when you were in the prayer room. Um,
Damn.
you know, that
Yeah.
that kind of that kind of thing. Um, and so like, I kind of get it. And even, you know, from own family members, like, oh, nobody else in the family has autism. Actually, there's a few of us.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
because it wasn't some birth defect that
Yeah.
was readable, by the naked eye, um, people can toss it out and make it whatever they deem it to be.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And just kind of the way that it was just like a microcosm of IHOP in general. They just kind of twist your story to fit their narrative. And that's what, Living Waters was, twisting your story, hearing, and they listened to the details of your story so that they could hold on to those and then wrap it around their idea. And this is why you need to be in the prayer room.
So, and they did that to me. Um, they hear my story of, I mean, didn't did, at that point I had never met my dad. Um, and so I'm like this Appalachian solo orphan out against the world, and
Yeah.
so like they took that and I got you're the Moses of this generation, you're the
Yes.
Joshua of this generation, you know, um,
Yes.
I had words like I am the end time apostle that will be standing at the end of the age, like the last
Whew.
one,
Yes.
um, yeah, oh, just,
I'm so
dude,
jealous. I would have killed for that.
yeah, but it would mess you up just as bad as conversion therapy.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
I
you
hear
know what
you.
that does to your ego?
Mm. Yeah, probably really fucks with it, huh? Probably
Yeah,
really
well,
inflates it.
really inflates it, and then when none of it was true,
Damn. Yeah.
you're left with this just giant chasm of like, oh crap, like everything
Yeah.
that I was shooting for, everything that I was believing in, everything that I have been putting all this effort in for 17 years
Yeah.
was pointless.
Yeah.
And it's the most grieving feeling that, like, death is the only thing I can compare it to.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this earlier today with a former IHOP, gay, ex-gay, and just thinking about how when we left, there was just such like our identity was so wrapped in everything we've been immersing ourselves in, and then it's like,
You don't know who you are.
right, like, okay, so what now? Thankfully, this is where I think I had the advantage because I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna go be gay. Like, I'm gonna go, you
Okay.
know, well, there's been something I've been wanting to be for so long, but they told me I couldn't, so I like left IHOP and went straight to like,
So,
gay
what led
life.
you to
Yeah.
that moment? Because, like, the awakening's happening, you
Yeah.
have people on stage,
Yeah.
um, and I won't name them because they're fully gay and happy now, but um,
You're gonna have
I
to tell
would
me who that
say,
is after this, but yeah.
they were probably forced to say it. I would say, um, but you had people on stage at the awakening claiming to be instantly delivered of homosexuality.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what that's how did you know that that was like where my story kicks in? Because it was right around that time. It was definitely during the awakening and it was right after a testimony. I don't know if it's the same one that you're talking about, but they kind of alluded to the idea of like, and they even said it from the microphone, like, come up, come to the stage if this is relevant to you, like you've been praying for your miracle. Essentially, you've been praying to become straight for so many years, decades. Come kind of receive this same instant transformation. And that did happen for me. Like, I went up stage, I was manifesting, and I had this big moment where I was just begging and begging, like, make me straight, make me straight, make me straight. And all of a sudden, it really was like this spiritual experience where the scales kind of fell down from my eyes. And I was like, oh shit, God is never going to change me. Like, this is just like who I am. And then I looked around and I couldn't see anything the same anymore. I just saw a bunch of broken people begging to be something that they
Else.
aren't. And just having such an extreme personality, like I left that meeting and went and like lost my virginity that night. Yeah, yeah. Like I got on Craigslist at the time,
Oh no,
and just
that's not the way to do it.
I, I didn't want to bring anybody else down at IHOP, so I
The
got on
dude who told
Craigslist.
the story. You should have just hit the dude up who told the story.
There would have been so much shame. And not only was it Craigslist, but like straight up, like I bought a sex worker
Oh no.
for $75 or something. And it was like not what I had envisioned. Like when I saw him at the top of the stairs, he did have a prosthetic leg, which is fine. I'm not talking down on that. But there was a lot of time that he had to come down the stairs, and I thought,
Wait,
like,
whoa. He had a prosthetic leg.
what?
You got him off
Well, this is a minor
Craigslist.
detail. It's a minor detail.
That
He
is
did have
not
a
a minor
prosthetic
detail.
leg, and he was maybe 72.
Oh my.
And but he was naked and he had a cowboy hat on,
Was he
and
snorting Viagra?
right, right. So he, right, he really should have been, but the I remember having that conversation of like, Tony, like you can definitely like, do better than this, but I was like, no, damn it, it's been so many years of like, repressing
Torture.
this. I was like, I don't care. The fact is, it's a man. I'm gonna do this.
Right.
So like I went upstairs and
It was more about you than anything.
totally. And it was not like I do get a little nauseous thinking about it now, but at the time, I remember being done so fast he only charged me 25, you know, because it was just so fast. I did not imagine sharing this story.
This is
But
awesome. Oh,
but that was the awakening for me. I awakened.
you got awakened with a
I
prosthetic leg.
yeah, yeah. He did have to
Oh,
take it off for sex. So yeah,
yeah, that I would imagine it would get in the way.
yeah.
Oh
But I
man,
mean,
I'm
after that,
excited.
I did come back and try to do it. I wouldn't. I was like, maybe I fucked
Yeah,
up.
you were
Yeah,
around, like you were around,
yeah. But I had
and that.
committed a really big sin at that point.
But I did notice like there was a point where it was like, wait, Tony's not like with the guys anymore. Like
With the what?
Tony's not with us anymore.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, like
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember, and but I never knew. And then you were just like you were gone. You were in that one like you were in the one Mexican looking house in Grandview.
Yeah, I
Like
bought a house there. I bought.
it was the only one that looked Mexican on the whole street.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
my little Pueblo house.
then is that where the dude came?
No, no, no. I drove over. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it was like in Boonesville or some shit. It was so
Oh
far
my
away.
gosh.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then like you were just like you left. That
Yeah,
was the story that I was told.
the very next day, I went to confess to somebody who is now out and open and gay. And when I told them, they were like, "Why are you telling me? I'm not gay. Why would you share that with me?" Because all of us gays were so hyper defensive about that. And then he told everybody, and the next day, like I was fired from every position I held and told that I needed to go, to Living Waters as full time as possible, like 5 days a week or whatever. So that was kind of the beginning of me,
Yeah.
phasing out because I wasn't in a place of leadership anymore, and I wasn't in a place where I could really, connect with the IHOP spirit because I was in such a shameful place.
Well, not only that, like you realize that God was never
That too. That
going
too.
to change. Like
That too. Yeah.
you had a
Yeah.
realization that I would have, many years later, but you would have a realization where it was like, this is just who I am. And so, like, as you were still trying to get back into it, it's just going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, like I knew that I had something had changed that night, but I was just so conditioned for so long. It was easy to doubt it. It was easy to be like, "Well, hold on, maybe you should still give this a chance. I don't want to go burning in hell now, you know?" So
Yeah.
I kept kind of fighting what I felt like I had received that night. Plus the shamefulness of the sex being just like not what I wanted. It was easy to be like, is this the kind of life you want to live? You know, banging one-legged sex workers for $25? You know, like is this so? So there was a lot. It was a
Dude,
complex
you could have did better
situation.
in any club in Kansas City. There's so many gay
Yeah.
bars.
And I did do better months later at Missy
Okay.
B's, but yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it was a messy time getting out of there.
Yeah. So how long were you in Kansas City though after like you left? Didn't you like or did you just move but stayed in the city?
Well, so I foreclosed on my home that I had bought in Grandview.
Right. That was the
And
last time I saw you.
yeah, we moved, me and as it so happened to be, like all of my close friends, once I had kind of come out, they were like, well, hey, actually, we're gay too.
I remember
And
this.
yeah, we all moved to like downtown, like Westport. And just like I got into JCC and started studying theater, and we just started like partying and going to gay clubs and just like, living
Living it
living
up.
gay life. Yeah. Yeah, in the
Nice.
messiest way possible, but yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Well, that's whatever. I mean, that's what you do whenever you're coming out of a cult. Like
Yeah.
now, you it seems like though like you're one of the few people who coming out of conversion therapy like was just able to embrace who you are. You didn't have as much of a like, battle with just you were just, screw it, I'm gay.
Yeah, I mean, I always think yeah, you're right about that in a way because I did have that experience at the awakening, and then there was like the months of trying to reconcile it and it not working. But yeah, eventually I hear that word deconstruction, so
Never
often,
did.
and yeah, me neither. I just totally left. I was like, fuck all of this, and I just drowned it out
Right,
like I guess without yeah like I literally just numbed it and pushed it down and said I want nothing to do with anything, God.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
I Looking back, I think I stopped believing probably around 2016, and I was still pastoring and all that.
Oh
But
damn, that's juicy.
yeah, and I just felt like such a liar for so long. And the only way I could handle the pressure of pastoring and like telling these stories and like performing the way that a pastor has to perform,
Yeah,
not
definitely.
not teach, not influence, not mingle with people, not any perform. Like it
Yeah.
is a pre-sales job. I was drinking 2 fifths of Evan Williams every day.
That's wild. That's so
Two,
wild.
bro. I'm Scottish. I'm Irish. I'm part Native American and part African. I metabolize alcohol so fast. Like I can drink
Wow.
a fifth and freaking like I won't even stagger.
So you just be
Um,
like trash like during a sermon or something, but like being able to hold it
Fully
together?
functional. You wouldn't know. You
Whoa.
wouldn't
Whoa.
notice anything different about me, except I didn't have the anxiety
Yeah.
of the performance. And with autism, that anxious level is uncontrollable, and I didn't know that I had autism, and so I didn't have medication for my autism and
Mm,
anxiety and things like that. And so the best medication being from Kentucky was
that's
bourbon.
right.
Bourbon fixes everything. You got anxiety, your heart giving you issues, cold, flu,
Damn.
STDs,
Well,
pour the bourbon on it.
if only.
If only.
If only. That's wild. I guess
No,
I didn't know you
they
were
put
actively
bourbon
drinking it.
on on teething babies.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
Colombians, we do like a little bit of Coke.
oh, there you go.
So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
just give them a
yeah.
whole leaf, chew
A
on.
whole, right, right. Well, shoot. So then how long were you kind of living that, like that kind of super drinking life while being a pastor at the same time? How long did that go on for?
I drank that hard for 3 years.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Whoa. And nobody kind of tried to intervene on this, or you just hit it that well?
A few people, but I mean, bro, trying to come before I lost Jesus, trying to come to me like and be like, "Hey, bro, you got an issue."
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't dare do that. Yeah, I could see that.
Post Jesus, bring it all day. Yeah, let's talk about it. How you doing?
Yeah.
you know, um, but there was an aggression, like alpha male, that was created in that prayer culture,
Yeah.
and so I
Yeah.
carried that on, and so yeah, a few different things happened, and I drowned them with Evan and Williams and Jim and Woodford and Knob
Got a little
Creek
class here or
and
there. Yeah.
eh, well, it wasn't
Nice.
always right gut whiskey. I mean, it,
Right.
but for the most part, it was because I drank so much of it. I didn't want
Yeah,
things to go.
seriously.
It's like stuff's
Seriously.
expensive. Stuff is expensive, and so in general, though, like with conversion therapy, um, how much harm have you seen it do to your friends?
Oh my God. I'm like the most. Okay, they're not gonna watch this. Yeah, I'm like the most well-adjusted since then. And I've come a long way. Like we're only talking about the dark spots, but like, um, I took a lot of work to get to like, just to get to feeling like myself, like my authentic self again. But
Mm-hmm.
literally, I had one that committed suicide. I had one that just flew off the rails and is like in prison. I had one that just kind of like their personality never resurfaced and they've just been depressed for a decade or more. And then I have one that is doing okay, kind of doing that alcohol life. But definitely all of them, their spirituality is, you know, completely not dead, but like worse than that, bitter.
Yeah,
So, like, I'm totally fine to make it full circle and to just be like, hey, it's not for me. But it's another thing to be bitter at
yeah,
everything spiritual. Um, that
yeah.
is, yeah,
It's
a different thing
and
entirely.
you gotta guard yourself from that.
Yeah,
You do.
yeah.
Even me, like the grief that I feel of wasting 17 years when I could have been building a actual career, a actual platform, a
Ooh,
actual, like
sure, sure.
to be 37, 38, 3 kids. and your only experience is ministry, and you don't believe in
Damn.
Jesus anymore.
Ah, damn.
So what you gonna do, boy? What you gonna do
Yeah.
now? And
Yeah.
so, like, it doesn't. It leaves you in a mess. That's why I have a GoFundMe on my Facebook, everybody. Um,
Yeah.
um, but so you've seen it do ravishing harm.
Like, yeah, more than I,
Yeah,
yeah, more than I can think of something else like equating that level of harm because it just cuts to the core of your identity and tells you it's wrong. So then you literally can't even breathe without feeling like you're fucking up. Like, yeah, just you existing is a disgusting abomination. So there's few things are that, able to penetrate to the core of who you are so strongly that you're just, you know, are completely not yourself. You've
right,
just, yeah. So it
right.
sucks. It's terrible, but not only that, it doesn't even work. It doesn't even, it would be one thing if some people turned out straight, but literally nobody has turned straight from conversion therapies.
And
That's the other side of it.
if they say they did, they're lying to you.
And that's the saddest, probably.
Yeah,
That's the saddest to live in that level of delusion.
because there's a few of those.
There's a
There's
ton
a
of
few of
those.
those. Yeah, they got those weddings were always popular at IHOP.
Yeah, okay. I know of a couple of those, I get.
Yeah,
No, really, mainly one big high profile one.
yeah.
Yeah, one high profile one.
Hmm.
But that has got to be the worst. I always think that was kind of what helped me not be bitter. Was like, I'm so glad I didn't stay there long enough to marry a woman. And then what? Or what if I had kids with a
Oh,
woman?
bro.
Oh my God.
Did I have a buddy? He did conversion therapy. Said it worked. Said it worked. Said it worked. Got married. Had
Ugh.
two, three kids.
Oh my God. I'm dead.
Pastoring, pastoring, all that. Finally, just hits a mental wall. Um, and it's a hard situation. Like, but that's what conversion therapy does to people.
Wait, so what happened to him?
He's doing good. I don't want to give away. He's going to be on the podcast soon, so I don't want
Oh,
to tell the
okay.
story for
Okay. Okay.
you.
Well, I'll be watching.
But he's an IHOP guy. Um, he's from Kentucky like me, and yeah, married, multiple kids. I don't know if it's two or three, but a year ago he came out.
Damn.
So
Yeah. See, I am so grateful that some people that I'm not, like some people that were able, there's even some people that you would have never guessed. But me just being so in tune, well, really just being so gay, it was just like not an option. It
right,
wasn't to just, I could only repress it for so long. Once the awakening happened, I was like, this is not going back down. Like I'm just gotta be me.
yeah,
And I'm so grateful for that. Cause shit, if I was straight passing, oh my God, I'd have so many kids. And I would have hated every time I conceived them. It would have been horrible, but I would have felt such gratification from being like, I did it. I
I did
became
it.
straight. Yeah. I
Yeah,
won.
I did the man
Yeah.
thing.
I did the man thing.
I did the
Yeah.
man thing. And you know what's funny is the awakening. If I was to say I deconstructed, I would say it started with the awakening.
Mm.
And I don't even believe. I think it was all like our brokenness responding to a hypnotic
Totally.
influence, music.
That's like charismania in general. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it is a triggered response. When the whole room's expecting one thing, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so anyway, um, That's my thoughts on that. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but it's called the nocebo effect. It's when you believe something so much, regardless if it's real or not, people just want to experience it.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember getting really sick right after that Colorado trip. So do you remember how sick I was on that Colorado trip?
Was that like right before you almost had
That,
the near
that
death?
is, this is what led to
It
it.
happened in
The,
Colorado.
the sickness that I got in Colorado, it was swine flu.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess maybe I remember a whisper of that, but I definitely know when everything started like not working for you and you were
Yeah,
just like your body was shutting down. And I remember even then, what's so funny is like, oh, I remember even then just believing so much in, who you were. I was like, it's only a matter of time before he gets up out of that wheelchair and he is just, even then I knew when he was getting sick, I was like, it won't last. No sickness known to man will stand or whatever, like I knew if anybody's gonna do it, he's going to. And what's funny is that you kind of did. You kind of did do exactly that.
I kind of
But
did.
hey, it's exactly like what you just said. If you believe
Well,
something, yeah.
it's you believe some. Well, so I had fought and fought and fought and fought to get better, but there was so much pain on the front part of my feet, and I think I told this story already on the podcast, but like I could not take steps forward. I could pull myself up and move with my heels, but I don't know if it was a mental block because it was just so painful that I like was like every time I touched it in my mind, it was still that painful. You know what I mean? Because it was so severe. I like full body paralysis. My whole body felt like I was being incinerated with nerve flames. Um, and so I think in that moment, my faith, the belief, the brain power, the pressure from the room, I think all of it kind of kicked me over that edge, and I was probably already better.
Yeah. Wow.
I was probably already better and just couldn't mentally like push myself to that next step.
Wow. So you got that healing probably at the same time I was losing my virginity.
It was 11:55.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I think that sounds about right. Um, wow.
And so I thought at that moment, I thought I was going to be off to the races and stuff. But at the same time, during the hospital was the first time that that I saw normal people outside of the IHOP bubble. Because I got there when I was
Whoa.
18 from a small, super religious town where, like, if you believe in evolution, you may have a demon.
Damn.
If not, you have some seriously messed up beliefs at the minimum. And so, like, um, it wasn't, IHOP wasn't crazy to me. Like, I was used to 6,000 year creationists. I was used to that that type of mindset, and church being authoritative, and that was my gear. That's what I got brought into. Um, and so it wasn't until the hospital that like I met regular people,
Yeah.
and then I realized I was like, these people are awesome. How are these people going to hell?
Oh, that's good. That's powerful. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
and from then on it was like, my faith, was like, it was screaming up here. I'm the Apostle Paul. And this one moment in the hospital, just went triggered it, and then it was just a like slow roll down the other side of the hill.
Man, yeah, I can definitely relate to that, like in meeting other gay people, because they were extra demonized
Yeah,
in conversion therapy, and like to the point where I thought they weren't even capable of loving. Like that was really what we taught. Like not even in a relationship, like they weren't even capable of loving a brother or sister because
they would be
they're
told
gay.
to be
Yeah.
celibate.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking. Yes, that they were told to be celibate, but just the way outside of like gay people that were living in the lifestyle. So people that were in the lifestyle, separate from us, because we were ex-gay,
Right.
we were taught that
Well, not
like
us as
even
in me and you, like us as in your crew.
as my ex-gay crew, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
was.
yeah, yeah, I get it. You were Apostle Jono.
Well,
But
no, not even then. Like, you know how people, some people like, they're like, oh, I experimented with being gay, or like they have that
yeah.
like, I had that questioning. That was not, I don't know if it's the autism. I don't know if it, like, I never. I'm just like, oh, you're gay, cool. Like, but for me, like, I've never had that like.
Well, you're a millennial too, so millennials are really binary, They're just
Oh yeah,
like all the way.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
born
Not
this
like
way.
Gen Z that's all queer. But
Yeah,
yeah, we were taught that gays in the lifestyle were like literally incapable of like loving their mother just
yeah,
because they were, just because they had given in to the deception so strongly. So when I started meeting gay people that were like being kind and not just looking for sex, just like, you know, helping me as I would have a, panic attack because I had, sure you can relate, several panic attacks and leaving IHOP. And that would blow my mind each time. I'm like, what? Someone can be nice and someone can love and be a good person. That did a lot to break down the lies that we were
yeah.
taught about, being a gay person.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I had a like. Of course, I had gay nurses, at Truman
Of
Hospital.
course.
Like, there's no way
Yeah.
around it. And like, they didn't hit on me. They didn't, and I was just like, I remember being confused because
Yeah. Yeah.
no one was who I was told they were.
Yeah.
No one was who I was told they were.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And that was the moment for me. And and I still Jonoed on. Well, it was
Yeah.
Jonathan then. And part of the reason that I am Jono is so that when people look up Jonathan Ballard, I'm not there.
Yeah. That was it. Jonathan Pollard. Man, I just get
Yep.
scared saying that name. Whew.
It has a lot of preacher attached.
Yeah.
It has a
Yeah.
lot of preacher attached to it. And so that's kind of like Jono is short for Jonathan. And it's one of the abbreviation names that you can use.
Nice. I
So
like
that's,
it. It makes me less scared to say your name. So, yeah.
see, it's not triggering.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not triggering. Yeah. Yeah. Because certainly the first time I started seeing your content, or when you had reached out, I'm like, what if this is some kind of intervention? Um, because it was so hard to see you in a different light. I was just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
when
love to see what you're doing now.
you saw me pop up on your TikTok, you were like, "Uh oh."
Yeah, yeah. It's like this IHOP controversy is bringing them all out.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
actually, for me, it reunited me with people who knew me then. They went through a similar process, and all of a sudden, like, there's all these people. on the other side going, "Hey, like we're all here together."
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Same. Yeah, it was great to connect with all these people that had, again, our own version of the
their
story,
own version
but
of yeah.
yeah,
But there's no one that I know that did not leave with trauma.
seriously, seriously,
Like
nobody.
I can't even legally share some of the stuff that happened whenever I left.
Damn. I don't even
Like
know what that means, but it sounds
I'll
awful.
have to tell you
Yeah.
off camera. Um, like in your view, is IHOPKC a cult?
1,000%.
Yeah, mine too. Mine too. And I mean, and it fits all the bills. Like you,
Totally.
you leave in a bucket of shame and with nothing and no way of making a living,
Hmm.
no skills
Yeah.
whatsoever that are acceptable. It's an
Yeah.
unaccredited money scheme.
Special knowledge that only they have.
Special knowledge, elitism that only they have. They are the chosen apostles. They
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
restored the tabernacle of David.
Damn.
They have, you know,
Their own language.
their language that they are the Amos 911. They're the friends of the bridegroom. They're the ones
Yeah.
who's going to usher in through the prayer movement the actual return of Jesus.
Yeah. Whoa.
And in that, all three of the founding members are sexual abusers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've had multiple sex cults show up over the years,
Yeah.
some ending in unalivings. Like, there's no box that it doesn't check.
Right. Right. Yeah. Totally. It's just like just a bigger cult than we're used to getting attention to, and there hasn't been as many deaths as perhaps another cult.
I mean, it's not the Manson cult, and it's not
Yeah,
Jamestown or Jamesboro or
yeah.
what was it called?
Jonestown.
Jonestown. Like, it's
Jonestown,
not
yeah.
that type of cult, like where they're going to inject you with rattlesnake venom if you try to leave. It's
Right.
more of the brainwashing, we're going to use you type of cult. And
Which is
whenever you
so
leave,
sneaky.
yeah, and when you leave, you're going to be useless to the world.
Yeah, yeah. Like they
It's
literally
that
said
type
that
of,
though. It wasn't even like,
yeah,
hidden. Like they would literally say, you leave here, like,
yeah,
well, I don't remember exactly what they say, but
they would attract the orphans. Like they would
yeah.
from the stage. We had dreams in their eyes. They said, "I have no father." Written across their forehead, "I have no mother." You
Ooh,
remember that kind of stuff?
ooh,
Like, say goodbye
definitely.
to my father, my mother,
Yeah. Oh, with the
every other lover.
manipulation.
Yeah, it's in everything. It is in
Yeah.
everything. Um, and it is a constant, urgent, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming, so that you don't take your foot off the gas and look around and
Yeah.
realize first that that's not the context. Like, he's coming already was supposed to happen 1900 years ago, and it
Right.
didn't.
Right.
It didn't. this
Yeah.
person will not pass away until they see me coming. Okay, well, he's been dead for a long time.
Yeah, they did so many gymnastics to twist scripture around their narrative. It's
Yeah,
wild. Yeah.
and while making Jesus your boyfriend,
While making Jesus your boyfriend. Yeah. Yeah.
which
And then
attracts gay people.
taking their definitely they did good at that, but like, and then taking like such an ambiguous book, Song of Solomon, and just like you could do anything with that, and they just literally did anything with that. They just literally made it say exactly what they wanted it to.
They
Yeah,
made it their whole.
yeah,
It is their whole foundation.
yeah. It was their whole foundation. Yeah. But it was the passion for me that really, it was the passion, and that's another cult thing. It's like another cult thing is drawing you in with passion.
The One Thing
Yeah,
Conference, seeing all the young people,
yeah,
um, yes, seeing a lot of people in your age group flocking there. Great music, like there was a lot of fun times.
oh,
Um,
for sure, for sure.
there's a lot of fun times. I mean,
Yeah,
inner tubing in Colorado was a blast.
yeah, actually I
You don't?
remember
Do
that.
you remember
I
it now?
do. I remember that being really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of good moments, but at the same time, it's cloaked in like this overall like grief of like
totally. That's a good way to
wasted
put
a
it.
lot of years, wasted a
Yeah.
lot of years, and that's
Yeah.
what they tell you you're doing.
They do. They do. Yeah, yeah. That's like the beauty, the glory of it. Just wasting your life for
Wasted.
the Lord. Yeah. And I was like, yes, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yes, I'm gonna
Just
waste it
take it.
all. Waste it
Waste.
all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
Damn.
do it, but that's what actually happened was like, oh, it actually was a freaking waste.
Yeah.
And so now, years removed. So I was a pastor as soon as this year. My last role was ended in March. Um,
Whoa.
and I was full agnostic in that role.
Whoa.
Um, it was torture. Um, and it wasn't in a healthy church at all, and it put us in some bad situations. But outside of that, um, where are you now? Given you ran through the craziness, you got past you found a groove in life and all that. Are you still just like party hardy?
Um, no, this is like a whole other episode, honestly. I am. It's crazy to even say in the context of this conversation, but I'm like wildly spiritual now. Like
Oh wow, okay,
wildly. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
that is
This
crazy.
was, like
Maybe this
it's
is part two. Maybe we'll do a part two
okay, yeah.
because we're at an hour and 30 minutes.
Oh shit. Okay, that happened
Counting the other
fast.
one. Um, so let's do a part two. Let's call it spirituality after
Oh, I love
spirituality.
that. I love that. Yeah.
Spirituality after spirituality.
Yeah. Well, or spirituality after religion. Ugh.
After religion. Yeah.
Yeah.
When your religion dies, or
Yeah, I like all of that.
when your religion dies and you find spirituality. That'd make all the Christians click on it.
Totally. All those the what the fuck is that word?
Deconstructionist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All those deconstructionists.
I was
Yeah.
just the light
Yeah.
switch guy. It was like
Yeah.
you ever seen the WWE guy who passed away? He would walk out and he would just blow out the light in his entrance. It was like the coolest entrance in the world.
No,
His name
but
was
that
Bray
sounds
Wyatt,
great.
and
Yeah.
unfortunately, he died at like 36 this year. So he had apparently, I mean, from what I know, he got a really bad case of COVID that exacerbated a heart issue, and then he had almost fully recovered from the heart issue that the COVID like made worse, and then he had a heart attack.
Damn.
And so like he was one of the most popular wrestlers on the planet. But his entrance, he would walk out like either holding a replica of his head that was glowing or a
Whoa.
lantern, and like the arena is black, and you just see him, his face, and like whatever is lit up in his hand, and then he goes, and that's what I did. It's like as soon
Cool.
as I left that pastoring job, I blew out that candle.
Yeah, you would use WWE imagery.
Of
But that
course,
says a lot. That does
yeah.
say that gives a very vivid description.
If any wrestling
Yeah.
fans watching that, they're like, "Yeah, I understood that.
Yeah.
That was a great
Yeah.
analogy."
Oh, I'm gonna YouTube that shit immediately
Oh
after
yeah,
this.
you
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
entrance, his entrance is absolutely like he has. I mean, you could probably watch 30 minutes of his different entrances, like the different ways that he did it, and be
Yeah.
entertained the entire time because of the
Love that.
creativity
Yeah.
and the creepiness. Like, dude was creepy as heck.
Yeah, it sounds a little creepy. It does.
Like, he had alternate personalities, and it was fun.
See, so like, and this is, we're obviously going to do this part two, but just
Mhm.
a quick little thing on mine is that I did do that in my own way, but maybe I kind of just like ran to gay life to kind of hide, and
Sure.
obviously drinking and drugs and all that. But
We could throw that
um,
in because I'd like to tell people how I got off alcohol in the next
oh,
episode.
okay, yeah, 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 okay. Yeah. So I'll just the one thing I'll say is it was really hypnotherapy um, that that kind of resurfaced my spirituality, um, and yeah, yeah. I'm glad we're not using this because we're going brain dead here.
No, it's
But yeah,
okay.
it
Oh,
was
we
yeah.
can we can still use this for it. You're not brain dead.
Oh, okay. So specifically the practice of past life regression, if you've ever heard of
Okay.
that.
Hmm.
Um, and not that I believe everything that past life regression has, all the data that we've collected from it, but the kind of universal principle behind it is what brought back my spirituality to think, yes, I can feel and see this overarching, spirit.
Yeah.
And IHOP was just hyper fixated on one tiny little thing and swearing this is all that it is.
Yeah.
And, my mind opening up to just the vastness of what, the life force that has us all alive,
And
Um,
that's, I will say, that is the kind of thinking that I am the most open to out of all the
yeah,
spiritual thinking. The universe, like we are made of the stars,
yeah,
like the same thing that forms the sun, like makes us up, like the same molecules, like everything is the same in the universe. Um, the one thing that like would make sense is that consciousness is recycled somehow,
yeah. I
not ended,
absolutely, yeah.
recycled. Um, that is the one thing that absolutely, and if that's the case, I just want to come back as a golden retriever and be my girl's dog whenever they're old ladies.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
Wouldn't you
Dogs
love to
are
be?
adored in our day and
Wouldn't
age.
you love to be your 90-year-old daughter's golden retriever?
That sounds pretty sweet. That sounds
I
pretty
would.
sweet. Yeah.
Anyway, that's how we'll end.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for episode 2, y'all. We have the Twilight Emporium. You know who he is on TikTok? Oh,
But I will.
he's gay,
Ooh, okay.
and he likes telling spooky stories.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So we're
All
gonna
right.
do an Appalachian Christmas, and I'm gonna be sitting in front of a Christmas tree, and we're gonna talk about a little Appalachian history, and then he's gonna tell Appalachian ghost stories.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. And out of sheer coincidence, out of the 8 or 9 episodes. There's a lot of gay on my
Yeah,
podcast.
sounds like it.
So, and that is kind of intentional because I'm sick of it. I'm
Yeah.
sick of all the hate. People need to grow up, and the more that like we can expose people to like this, the more
Yeah.
acceptance this is going to happen. And that is the point of Jono's World.
Hell
We'll
yeah.
see you guys in the next episode.
I thought we had already ended.
This is Jono's World, conversation for everyone.